Happy Wednesday. So we're going to talk about meal planning and meal prepping the lazy genius way. Now, this is for you. If you are so tired of hearing, Mom, what's for dinner? And then you have to scramble because you don't know what's for dinner. You haven't thought about that yet. You have zero desire to run to the store to buy ingredients. And you literally would rather feed your kid Lent from the dryer, like the Lent bowl from the dryer, than cook your family a meal that night. So if you are someone and you're on these videos pretty much every single week with me, welcome back. I very much appreciate your support. If you are brand new to this channel, I'm Tanya Johnson. I'm the founder of Helping Hearts Homeschool, and I am affectionately known as the holiday homeschooler. So what I love to do is I love to work with parents, specifically homeschool parents, and show them how to put the fun into their homeschool. Every single day can be a holiday. It's so much fun, but we prioritize the biblical worldview. So we have a whole lot of fun, but we prioritize viewing school, family, ministry, housework, all of it through the lens of a biblical worldview. Okay, so this menu planning, meal planning video has been a long time coming. And I want to tell y'all how I got here because I did not know how to cook very much at all when I got married. I also didn't have super good time management skills. I tried. I learned a lot of time management in college, but those of y'all that know, like if you went to college and then you started a family and then you started homeschooling, it's like a new level of organization and time management that you have to add on to each one of those. So what worked for me in college didn't really cut it when I got married and had a baby. I tried, but I just wasn't very good at it. So I would not plan my meals. I literally would plan like 1 or 2 days at a time. So I was going to the grocery store 2 and 3 times per week. Each time was like minimum of 45 minutes by the time I got in my car, drove there, got my stuff, came back. Usually it was longer than that because I had a kid in tow. And that also meant I had to like get semi-ready to go out the door, right? Even if you do a quick ready, it takes 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then we were wasting so much money on top of the time because a lot of the time I would not think about dinner until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. By then it was easier to run and get takeout than it was to go to the grocery store, get the ingredients, come home and try to make dinner. So we were wasting a ton of time and a ton of money simply because I was a poor planner. Now, here's what happened. I went from that side of the coin to completely like going over to this extreme where I became pretty much an extreme meal prepper planner. I would go to the grocery store 1 time per month. I would do tons of freezer meals. Like, I'm not kidding you. Our freezer and our fridge were so full, you could barely get the door shut. And then what happened is we would lose things. Because again, I had really good intentions and I did all the prepping and stuff, but we would lose things because maybe we didn't feel like eating that meal that day, or it was just so far behind things I couldn't find it. And then I would find it months later and it would end up going in the garbage because it wasn't good anymore, or it had frost on it. And to me, I know that in the freezer, you can like things will last forever. But if it starts getting frost on it, it really grosses me out. I'm high functioning autistic. There are certain things that just gross me out. Any kind of like icicle looking things on stuff in my freezer, it's automatically going in the garbage. I know that that's not healthy. But it's one of those things that I cannot stand. There's a reason that I buy my food the way that I buy it right now. I would love to get a deep freeze. I would love to buy a whole cow. We've talked about it. I think that if by the end of the year, because I know a cow, I think gets you like a year or something of meat. I know it gets you a long time. I think after the few month mark, I would start getting grossed out, even though I know in my mind that all of that food is perfectly good. I don't know if I would actually eat it. So we haven't done that yet. We've talked about it. If we do it and we pull the trigger and buy a half a cow or a whole cow or however, again, I think it's a half a cow actually that you buy, especially for a family of our size, then I would just have to make myself eat it, or I would just use that food for my husband and my daughter because again, I know it's good. Like there's nothing wrong with it. But if I couldn't bring myself to eat it, then I would just be eating a lot of chicken or something. I don't know. But basically, bottom line, if we did that, I would make sure we don't waste the food. So I would have to like mentally prepare myself. So all that to say, that lovely little rabbit trail. That was one problem. Another problem is I started hating Sundays because what we would do is we would do a ton of freezer meals. We'd pack everything up in there. But then on Sundays, we would make everything for the next week. So some of that was already prepped on my one big day. But a lot of times that meant cooking all afternoon on Sunday. So we are a ministry family. We've been a ministry family since forever. Like, we met at Bible college. So when we were going through this meal prepping phase, and this lasted for a good 6-8 months, like, we stuck with it. We did it, like, legit did it. We would come home about 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. We would cook from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And you say, Tanya, that's only 4 hours. You're right. But when you've already spent all day teaching people's kids, and then you've got to go back at night to sometimes teach, sometimes sit in a service, whatever we were doing, 4 hours is a lot. And me and my husband both did these 4 hours, and we like cranked out meal after meal after meal. We had everything prepped and ready in the fridge, but it was so much work. And again, I just kind of started dreading it. I started where I hated coming home on Sunday. And then what would happen is if we missed that one little pocket, then we were kind of screwed for the whole week. So that was what I was relying on. I didn't have any time in my schedule to cook every single day. So if we missed that, we were still going out to eat. Now, rarely did we miss it. We did, again, 6 to 8 months of this, but it just got to where I really hated doing it. And then the last problem we ran into is by day 3 or 4, we didn't want to eat leftovers anymore. Like, it felt like we were just eating leftovers every single day. So if that works for your family, yeah, go for it. And it saves a whole lot of time during the week. So I'm not knocking on anybody. Oh, I literally almost knocked my camera over. But if it doesn't work for you and you've tried it and you beat yourself up over it, just know that you're not alone. It doesn't work for a lot of us, and that is absolutely okay. Now, what I did find to work was, again, I call it meal prepping the lazy genius way, and I'm going to tell you where I got that title at the end of this video. But there are 3 very easy steps to this, and I've been doing this for years now. It works wonders. Like, I don't spend a lot of time at the grocery store. I don't waste money eating out because I don't have anything to cook. When we do go out to eat, it's planned. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of our day-to-day nutrition. Now, step 1 of this is meal planning. You have to have a plan. Now, is it all up in my head? No. If you ask me right now, this is Wednesday. If you say, what are you having for dinner tomorrow? I have no idea because it's not in my head. But I can look at my calendar and I can tell you all the meals that we're having between now and not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after that. So I always have a 2-week rotation going. Obviously it's Wednesday, so we've already used the first couple of days. Now I've actually put together a list of meals for you guys. I have this on my computer. There's about 40 to 45, I don't know the exact number on here, meals that we rotate through. So that means we do not repeat meals more than once every 4 to 5 weeks, unless it's something we really love and my husband just asked me to make it again. And that's fine. There's no rule saying you can't eat the same thing in a certain amount of time. But I know for us, it gets mundane when you're eating the same thing every week. So we try to switch it up and only have our meals once every 4 to 5 weeks. But this makes it super easy. So what I do on my computer, I have just a basic Word document with a list of meals, and I have my hard copy. So this is the copy that does not get deleted. But what'll happen is as I get a new meal introduced, I'll add it to that hard copy and save it. And I have quick meals, soups, sandwiches, they're broken up into certain little categories. And then I just made a copy of that and I literally titled it Meals Delete As You Go. So what I do is I sit down typically on Monday and I meal plan for the next 2 weeks. Now, if the math doesn't math to you, it makes sense because the way that I do this is when I sit down on Monday, I already have that week planned. So I'm really just planning for 1 week. The first week is the only time you do a 2-week planning system. The next Monday you sit down and you look and see, okay, I've got all my meals planned for this week. Is there anything that I forgot to get at the store or that I need to add to a list? And then you actually plan out that second week. So you're always 1 week ahead of where you're living in, if that makes sense. And so I will pick my 7 meals for that week. I'll delete those off of my list, write them in my calendar, save it to make sure that it saves. This takes all the guesswork out of planning. So when I sit down on Monday to look at my list, the only meals that are left are the ones we haven't had in this 4 to 5 week rotation. So now I pick from those meals. Every Monday when I sit down, I just pick from the meals that are left. So I'm not having to think, when's the last time we ate that? Do we need to eat that again? When I get down to can't really, get another week out of it, I simply go over to my original hard copy, copy that, paste it into the meal plan, delete as you go, or whatever I titled it. And then I have all the meals fresh again to start from scratch, adding to my calendar, deleting as I go. Super easy, super simple. It takes me 30 minutes once a week to sit down and have my whole menu planned out and my whole grocery shopping list planned out for a full 2-week cycle every single time.
Okay, so let me walk you through what this looks like in real time. I feel like explaining it is much more confusing than seeing it. So first thing I do is I look at my calendar for the next 2 weeks, and I am doing 2 weeks at a time now. I know I said in the video I was doing 1 week. I've since changed it. Now on Saturdays is when I do my meal planning, and really you can do this however works for your schedule. So 1 week at a time, 2 week at a time, doesn't matter. Look at your schedule and say, okay, what do I have planned? For me, it would be for the next 2 weeks. Like, what do I have going on? The first thing I do on my meal planning calendar is not write in my meals or my recipes. It's write in what I have going on each day. So like Thursday, I know that we have a field day coming up, meaning I'm going to be at the church from 9 a.m. until about 3 p.m. I need an easy meal for that evening. Wednesday, I've got tutoring in the afternoon, youth group in the evening. Same thing, easy meal. Tuesday, I've got tutoring, but only one student in the evening, so the meal can be a little bit more complicated. And then as I'm doing this, I'm remembering that I also have tutoring on Thursday, and they just moved our field day to Friday. So this is where the planning really comes in handy and being able to see what is going on for each day. So first thing I'm doing is I'm simply writing in everything that I need to get done between now and the end of that 2-week cycle, so then I can plug in my meals accordingly. Now that all of my events are plugged into my calendar, it's time to actually put the meals in. So this is where I go to my hard copy on the computer. I look through all the meals that we've not used this month yet, and I just plug in meals accordingly. So if I know I have a really busy day and I want a crock pot meal, I'm going to go into the crock pot section and put in a crock pot meal, and so on and so forth. So this is the completed meal list that I have, and then I'm going to take and make a grocery list from there so I know what ingredients I need to get at the store.
You can go over to the blog and you can download your own list of meals, and you can upload it to a Word document, or you can handwrite it out, whatever's easy for you, right? You don't have to do anything on the computer if you don't want to. But it does take all the guesswork out of the planning side, which honestly is half the battle. Now, number 2 is the shopping. So remember, you already have a shopping list. You're going into the store knowing exactly what you need to get for an entire week's worth of meals or 2 weeks worth of meals. Now, here's what we do. Every Sunday night after night service, we run through Aldi, which is just down the street from our church. I run in, get all the stuff that I need for the next 7 days of meals, and it takes me under 30 minutes to do this. So 30 minutes once a week, that's about 2 hours per month. Now, if you add on the meal planning time, call it 4 hours per month. But again, it doesn't actually take 30 minutes to plan or 30 minutes to shop each time. I give myself that window in case I need a little extra time for whatever reason. But let's call it 4 hours a month, and you have meals for the entire month. That is less than the time that you spend grocery shopping 1 week if you're trying to plan meal by meal as they come. And that's not to mention the amount of money that you're also going to be saving from not eating out or buying overpriced groceries down the street at your like local food grocery store instead of going to a store like Aldi. Now, Aldi is out of our way. Like, that's why I do it after night church, because it's by our church, not by our house. It's like 25 minutes if I drive from my house. So again, planning prevents having to go to the store and spend all the extra gas to do this. But doing that, spending 30 minutes once a week saves enough money to where it's well worth that 30 minutes of my time. Now, I would say we get the bulk of our groceries there. I used to do this every other week. So every other Sunday we would go and we would get 2 weeks worth of groceries. The problem was I use a lot of fresh vegetable, and we like a lot of fresh fruit in the house. So those things don't last for 2 weeks. So I was having to go on the off weeks and get my produce. At that point, I might as well just grab all my stuff for the week. I was only saving like maybe 5 minutes doing it that way. And it was a lot more hassle doing a 2-week shopping, coming home, unloading everything, unpacking everything. So we just decided to start doing it weekly. Now, the things I don't get at Aldi. I get my toiletries, like the everyday stuff, like if I need makeup or if I need cotton rounds or if I need shampoo and conditioner, toothpaste, like the stuff that you don't want to buy in bulk, but I typically don't like the Aldi brands. I get those at Walmart. So I have the Walmart delivery service. So I just order those when I need them and they come to my house. Now, if I did not have the Walmart delivery service, I would go to the store once a month, stock up on those things, and not have to worry about them for the entire month. So that's, again, a little bit of planning goes into that. And then also I do get a couple of food items from Walmart if they don't have the brand that we like at Aldi. So that is like your family's preference. If you need to plan out your whole month at once, I wouldn't buy all the groceries for it, but you can do that if you need to make one Walmart run and get all of the Walmart items. So just kind of play around with it. Either way, saves time and money by planning it. Now, the other thing that we have is we have a Sam's Premium Plus membership or something. So it again, it includes delivery. And the reason I got this, because we had a Sam's Club membership for a year, no delivery, just the Sam's Club. And then I was looking at the little fine print and I got the offer to get the plus for a certain amount of money. And then you get a certain percentage of cash back on everything you buy at Sam's if you have the plus membership. You also get early access to the store, which is a perk for me sometimes, not all the time. But I have used it occasionally. Now, with the money back though, I figured it up and I looked at what I spent on Sam's the year before that and then figured up how much cash that would have given me back in my pocket. The cash I make back from just shopping at Sam's completely pays for the Sam's Club membership. So at that point, you're getting a free delivery service. Why not, right? And the things I buy at Sam's are like toilet paper, and then we don't really use paper towels, but if we have like big parties coming up, like the hurricane season, we use paper towels because we have people in our house all the time. I buy these big things of lemonade because my teen discipleship class loves the lemonade, and then my homeschool parties love the lemonade, so I buy that there. My husband's lunch snacks come from there. So we buy certain kinds of meat from there as well. So because I have the delivery service, I typically will just make an order every week right before I head to Aldi, and I'll just get those delivered to me. If I did not have the delivery service, then what I would do, and I did this for a while, I would go to Aldi every Sunday night, get my groceries for the week, and then on the first Monday of every month, I would go to Sam's and go to Walmart and get my stuff for the entire month. Now, again, you don't have to pick those days. It's whatever days that you want. Those are the days that worked for us. But now I don't do that because I do have the delivery service. So the only physical store I go to is Aldi, and then I just order everything else and have it delivered. Now, number 3, and this is really where it kind of all comes together in a nice little package. You put a little bow on it and you just like make your life so easy. And that is meal prepping the Lazy Genius way. So I'm going to show you what that looks like because it's really hard to like tell you what that is. But basically I'm not spending one day prepping all of my meals, but I am bulk cooking certain things. So I'm just going to walk you through. I don't know how many days are going to be on this little vlog portion of this because I'm filming this on a Wednesday and we have the videos going up, I think in 2 weeks. So I'll have to have time to edit it. You'll probably have a good 7, 8, 9 days of like vlog portion on this that you can see in real life how I do the meal prepping part.
So in true Tanya fashion, I did not do a great job vlogging this stuff for you guys. As y'all know, I'm an educator. I'm not a vlogger. I don't enjoy having a camera on all the time. However, I did get a decent amount for you. So this is the original menu. As you can tell, by the end of the week, it was looking all kinds of crazy because we switched a few things around. And that's okay. Part of planning like this is being able to be flexible and having meals on hand when you need to switch things up. So the original plan was Monday, ribs, macaroni and cheese, and baked potatoes. Tuesday was going to be breakfast for dinner. Wednesday was just a simple spaghetti with meat sauce. Thursday was baked chicken breast, roasted potatoes, and roasted cauliflower. Friday was our Easter school day, meaning a big Easter party here for a bunch of teenagers. So we had the list of food for that. Saturday was 5-layer burritos and rice. And then Sunday was meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and corn. And then I don't write it on here, but basically a side salad is kind of our vegetable with every meal. I don't like a lot of cooked veggies. Neither do my husband or my daughter, but we all found that we like raw vegetables. So we typically will just put a side salad as our vegetable with every meal. It's not as like restaurant looking perfect where you have your meat and your veggie and your potato, but it works. Now here's what actually happened. Monday, I decided to do an all-day shopping day, which was not originally on the plan. So I had not been able to make the Mississippi chicken on the Friday before. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember what happened. Oh, yes, I do. So my husband got called into work early, like hours and hours early. So we had to basically run him to work as soon as homeschool co-op was over. There was no time to cook anything, so we ran through Arby's, and that became dinner. Now, Not ideal, but again, sometimes stuff like that happens and it's out of your control. So I already had chicken thawed, meaning I had to use it within a couple of day window. So Monday ended up being the Mississippi chicken. So here I am shredding it after we got home from shopping. It cooked all day in the crock pot. So all I had to do when I got home was mix everything together in the chicken part of it and then make a side of mashed potatoes. Tuesday, we ended up doing the spaghetti and meat sauce because we slept in much later than we normally do. So as soon as I got up, I put the hamburger out to thaw. That way, by the time a few hours went by, it was able to be thawed enough to cook into a sauce. We moved breakfast to dinner on Wednesday because we ended up not having youth group that night. Once a week, I try to have a cooking lesson for Glory on a night that we are not rushed to get dinner on the table and we don't have a lot of other things going on. So this was a good night for that. She was in charge of making the French toast and she did a really good job with that. Now, Thursday, I knew it was going to be a lot of party prep, which is why for our actual meal, we had planned an easy chicken, potato, and cauliflower. However, we had not done the 5-layer burritos yet, and I did not have chicken thawed out for this. So this is where the planning really helps. I did not thaw out my chicken the night before, and because it's a big pack, you have to thaw it out for an entire night or it doesn't work. So I wasn't able to do that. So I went ahead and just moved my 5-layer burrito from Saturday to Thursday. Now, usually we stick pretty much to our schedule for food. This was a really weird week, but I'm glad it was because I want to show you how easy it is to still have homemade meals every single night by having that plan and having all those ingredients at your house, even if they don't stick to the day that you originally planned them. So Thursday rolled around, the chicken went into the crock pot for Friday. Now that chicken I just didn't have chicken for our actual meal. But Friday I knew I needed the chicken salad made. So I was planning on making the chicken salad, the egg salad on Thursday. That way Friday rolls around, it's ready when all the kids get here. So I had that going while I had my dinner going. And then Glory is in the living room cutting up some grapes for the chicken salad while I am putting the actual dinner together for Thursday night for us. And then by the time we had our dinner ready, I was able to quickly throw together the chicken salad and the egg salad, put it in the fridge. That way, wake up tomorrow, all the kids get here, and the food's already done. Now, Friday was the tween extravaganza that we had. So we had the chicken salad and egg salad on croissants. We had fruit. We had a veggie tray. We had some ready-made desserts. I'm trying to make it as easy for myself as possible when we have these, I say big party days. This was a very small one. We only had 4 kids on purpose. Usually there's anywhere between 10 and 12 kids that are here, but this was a huge hit. The food was way cheaper and way healthier making it ourselves when it comes to the chicken salad and egg salad than it would have been buying these from a store. Now, a friend of mine, who is also one of the parents from dropping their kid off at this party, made a meatloaf for us, like to be able to make our own self, but made it for us. So Saturday became meatloaf day because we used her meatloaf, and then I just paired cauliflower rice and the potatoes that we were going to make with our meatloaf. And it made it super easy to not have to worry about dinner that day. And then Sunday was our ribs. So we had these slow cooking in the oven the entire time we were at church. Came home and all I had to do was whip together some potatoes and some macaroni and cheese. And Sundays, I typically make enough of whatever meal we're having for 2 meals. So we eat this for lunch and for dinner. Oh, and something else I forgot. So the eggs for the egg salad were the same eggs that we dyed, and we did this on purpose. So every year we do our Easter egg dyeing. All it is, you're boiling eggs and you are dyeing the outside, so you're dyeing the shell. Rarely does any of the dye get on the inside of the egg. Now, having said that, when we peel them, we always rinse them really well just in case. But then that is what we used for our egg salad this year. Now, sometimes we do it differently. We'll use it to put up in our potato salad or whatever it is. When we do our egg dyeing, we always make sure that we use those eggs. Sometimes we just use them like we eat them for breakfast because we like boiled eggs. But this year, it was just good planning to be able to do it before the party. And then this year, where we're at, eggs are, at one point, were almost $6 a dozen. So you can imagine I'm not going to buy 2 dozen eggs, so $13-ish worth of eggs, to dye and then throw in the garbage. So part of our planning also is just to make sure that we are being good stewards of the money that we have when it comes to buying the groceries. Now, week 2, it is Saturday of week 2 as I'm editing this right now, but we pretty much stayed with our meal with our menu on this. So Monday, the plan is steak Alfredo. Tuesday, it was pork chops, vegetables, and a potato. Wednesday was chicken spaghetti. Thursday was Mexican lasagna. Friday was barbecue chicken, potato salad, and regular salad. And then Saturday was originally going to be the Easter meal, but we moved that to Sunday because my husband's work schedule is kind of unpredictable at this point. And then he's having beans and hot dogs, and we'll probably have sandwiches or something for dinner on Saturday, which again is today. He likes beans and hot dogs. He's from Maine. I think it's kind of weird, but apparently that's like a normal meal for them. So once every 6 to 8 weeks, we typically will have beans and hot dogs for him. So this week, Monday is our cooking lesson. Glory is making steak Alfredo. And then the steak that we buy, this cubed steak, is from Sam's. So it is in a big pack, way more than you need for a meal. So she's also in charge of weighing and portioning this out and putting it in the freezer. Tuesday was our pork, potatoes, and broccoli. So Monday night, I got the pork out for today. And then I got the chicken out for Wednesday, and I thawed everything together. Now, Wednesday is our chicken spaghetti. So this cooked in the crock pot all day. And then once it was able to be shredded, I cooked the spaghetti noodles and threw all of it together before we headed to youth group. Now, Thursday was Mexican lasagna. That is the only one this week I did not do as well as we wanted it to. And the reason being is I did realize as I was putting everything together that I somehow did not have one of the ingredients. So I ran to the store to get it. By the time I came back, I did not have time to actually cook the lasagna before my husband went to work. So what I did is next week, and again, this is where having a 2-week schedule works so well. Next week, I have a taco pasta planned. So I just swapped the 2 meals. I already have the ingredients for that. It takes less time to cook. So we did that on Thursday. I didn't get a video or picture of it. Friday was our field day, which is what you are watching a little highlight of right now. And then I had barbecue chicken, potato salad, and salad planned for that. So I got home from field day. We immediately started working on, I immediately started working on the dinner. I had a bonus kid here, and then my husband had to go to work early. So we just had her and her family stay for dinner and had a nice little time of it. And then now that brings us to Saturday, which is today. And we will have the beans and hot dogs for my husband. He's actually going to work early again today, so that's already packed for him. And then my daughter and I will have sandwiches or something easy for dinner. And then Easter dinner will be tomorrow. So we'll be working on some prep work for that today. And then the ham will be in the oven the entire time we're at church tomorrow. And we'll come home to a nice dinner.
Now, the last thing I want to mention is the title I chose because I did not come up with the Lazy Genius way, Lazy Genius method. This was actually a book that I found 3 or 4 years ago on how to manage your household, the cleanliness side of it. She had so many really awesome tips and tricks in there on how to work smarter, not harder. So what I did is I took some of her methods and I just applied them to the cooking side of things. Figured if I could combine certain things, if I could take the brain work out of some of it, it would make my life easier and it would simplify it, and it did. Now, what I did not know is she has a book called The Lazy Genius Kitchen. I didn't know about this at the time. I don't know how far after the first book she wrote this one. But at the time of scripting this, I had not read the book. And I don't remember even how it came up. Oh, yes, I do. I was looking for books to add to my list for 2025. That's how it came up. And I just happened to see The Lazy Genius Kitchen. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So I clicked on it and it was from the same author. So scripting this, I had not read it. Filming it, I actually have about 30 minutes left of reading it. So I have almost finished it. And I am very proud of myself because a lot of the things that she recommends in the book are things that I do because of her initial book. I just kind of connect the dots myself. Now, having said that, there's no way I could talk about everything she has in that book. She has so many good tips for your kitchen. So I would highly recommend reading both of her books. And she also has a podcast. I haven't listened to the podcast yet, but her books are amazing. So I'm assuming her podcast is also going to be amazing. So I would add all 3 of those if you are looking for a way to simplify your home management, systems, strategies, whatever you want to call it. So that is it for this video. I really hope that this helps simplify your kitchen meal prepping, meal planning systems, no matter what season you're in. Now, I say that because you might be in a season where you're wanting to cook every single thing from scratch, and that's a priority to you. You might be in your soccer mom season where your kids are running in every which direction and you do not have time to be making from scratch pasta for every single meal. Wherever you're at, the important thing is making your meal planning and your meal prepping system work for you and for your family. Now, I'm in the season where everything is homemade. It's not always made from scratch. Like there are times instead, like I'm not growing my own tomatoes in my backyard and turning them in tomato sauce. I'm using like a can of tomato sauce, but most of the meals are made from scratch with like 1 or 2 item ingredients, I guess, from the grocery store. So I call that home cooking. I don't know if it's like the level of home cooking that some people call home cooking. Now, what I don't do home cooking right now is I do some ready-made meals for my lunches and even like ready-made salads and stuff, because I am tracking my macros and I'm tracking certain things when it comes to protein and even certain types of carbs. So it's just easier for me to have something with a label on it than trying to input everything into a system and get the portions right and weigh everything out. Just for me, the time side of it, I wanted all the guesswork taken out of it. So I am doing more pre-portioned meals for that kind of stuff. And then salads are just because, again, once the lettuce is in my fridge for like 3 days, I don't like it anymore. But for whatever reason, if it's in the sealed little salad container, it tastes fine. Listen, I'm weird. My brain works weird. The reason I'm telling you this is because whatever season that you are in, whatever little quirks you have with food, that's okay. The important thing is that you find the meal planning and meal prepping system that works for you, and these principles can work through all seasons of life. So I would love to hear your meal prepping and meal planning tips and tricks that have worked for you down in the comments, and I will see y'all next time.